Hello everyone, my name is Sean Mancini and today we're talking about Cisco Discovery Protocol, aka CDP. Now CDP is like I said, Cisco proprietary protocol that's found on Cisco iOS devices, routers, switches, sometimes you'll find on even a PIX firewall, ASA firewall. Now basically what this protocol was meant to do, is meant to do, is to help you map out your network or see devices that are connected to other devices. So for instance, you have switch A and router A and switch B. Now with CDP on, router A and switch B will exchange information like what iOS version they're running, their serial number, host name, things of that nature. So if I would want to see what device is directly connected to from my switch, I'd just go show CDP neighbors, for instance, and I'll see what the neighbor of that router is. The problem with this from a security aspect is that the protocol virtually has no security. All the information is transferred in clear text. And now what's the problem with that is obviously is that if I'm sniffing packets, I will be able to see all that information which can be used against me in an attack. So we're going to go ahead and see how this works, and I'll show you a couple ways you can mitigate your risk, and even show you how to disable CDP completely, and maybe you can use some other network mapping software. So let's dig in. So the first thing we're going to do is I will log into one of my routers here. Okay, and this is a Cisco 1841 router. Okay. Now I will set up a man-in-the-middle attack. Okay, basically what I have is I have a network probe here that's set up to already. The network probe is sitting on a port that's mirrored. So I'm using port mirroring to kind of catch CDP in action here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we'll see that if I go show CDP neighbors, CDP is not enabled on this router. That's not like that by default. That's just the way I have it. So I'm going to enable CDP and let's see what goes on. So I'll enter into configuration mode. We'll enable CDP by going CDP run. Now we'll go into an interface that we want to enable CDP on, and then we'll go CDP enable. Okay. Now CDP is enabled. Now when I do show CDP neighbors, I see that all of a sudden it's connected to a switch, which is a Cisco 2924. And it's connected directly on port 0/1. So 0/1 from that switch is connected to me. Now let's see what the packet sniffer popped up. Okay, so the packet sniffer has checked out that there was a CDP communication between our two devices. Okay, so let's see some of the interesting things we can find out. As you see, there's one CDP packet from the router and one from the switch. Okay, so let's dig in onto the actual CDP protocol and see what was transferred. Now already I can see a bunch of big no-nos here. First of all, I see the host name for this router. Okay, I see that it's a Cisco 1841. Okay, and I see that the port F0/1, we'll see that there's the port F0/1 is up. Okay. Well, let's expand this frame a bit here, and now we see that it's a Cisco 1841. Running iOS 12.4. Okay, so from an attack standpoint, we already know our attack vector. Okay, we're already knowing that first of all, I'm going to use exploits and attacks directed to Cisco iOS 12.4, so I don't have to waste too much time on trying to figure out what they're running. I can even go down further and see that there is the IP 192.168.1.1, okay, and it's assigned to Fast Ethernet 0/1. Okay, so we're even seeing what interface, what IP, what interface is connected to. Okay, now we even see going further than that. We see it's a full duplex. We even see the duplex settings of the interface. Okay, which from a security standpoint is nothing, but it's just interesting to know that there's a lot of information being transferred here. We see that there's VT. If this was a switch, okay, which this is the router, okay, if this was a switch running VTP, we'll even see the VTP domain, okay, which can be very useful in an attack. Now, I should also mention that CDP is also susceptible to to a type of flooding attack, just like an ARP spoof type thing. Because this has no real authentication mechanism, no passwords, no nothing, we can potentially spoof CDP packets directly to the router, fill up the CDP table, and either bog down the router or crash it completely. I'll do that in another video because my other attack machine that I use for attacks is not up at the moment. So let's go and see what the switch packet would look like. Now it's most likely look the same. Okay, we'll go down. Okay, so now we'll see that this is a Cisco 2900 XL switch. Okay, running 12.0 software. Okay, now we come down. Okay, now with the switches, we're going to see a bit more information. We'll see, for instance, that the protocol hello, it's using the cluster management software, okay, or Cisco CMS, okay, and we'll see that the management VLAN is VLAN 1, okay, and it's not running any VTP, so we're not going to see anything there. Perfect. Okay, so now we know what we can get from it. Well, how do we prevent that from happening? Couple things. One, we can disable CDP completely. Okay, so now to do that, in global config mode, you'll just type in no CDP run. That'll disable the CDP process, okay, and be done with it. Kind of like what you'll do in a Windows server or Linux server by shutting down a process that we know is vulnerable, or shutting down processes that we don't need. You can easily, there are tons of network mapping software out there. CDP is not needed by any means for day-to-day operations. It's just, again, a convenient tool that can be exploited. Now, let's say you want to keep CDP, okay? You're going to make sure that all your switches are configured, that no one can do any packet sniffing on. Maybe have port security enabled on everything, but you really want CDP. Well, what you can do is enable CDP, but disable it on a particular interface. So now if I want to go to, let's say, my inside interface, F0/1, I don't want CDP running on this particular port. I don't want the packets leaving. We'll just do show no CDP enable. Okay, no CDP enable will tell the router not to send CDP traffic out this particular port. Okay, and then I can just go to my outside port or the port I want to enable and just do CDP enable. Okay, that will send CDP traffic out the other way, and I don't have that port is not connected to another Cisco device, so you're not going to see that. Okay, so if I go to a packet sniffer now, where'd you go? The packet sniffer disconnected on there. There we go. Okay, I go. Let's just reset here. Okay, we're not seeing the conversations that we did before. As a matter of fact, the only packet I should see in here are coming from the switch that has CDP enabled, because it's sending CDP packets to the router, but it's obviously not going to get anything in terms of response. Yeah, so again, we're only seeing it from the switch and not the router. Okay, so that's the scoop on CDP. I hope it was informative for you. I'm looking for suggestions and comments for future videos and what you guys want to learn about. I'm going to do I'm looking to do a couple videos or a series type deal on Cisco iOS security, and not only just the security aspect, but configuration and how little things like leaving CDP on can land you into big trouble. Not necessarily advanced security stuff, just more best practices, where we all know in the security world that best practices are about 90% of the battle, and rarely a lot of these things sometimes can be missed and cause you grief down the road. So again, my name is Sean Mancini, and please, like I said, leave comments. Also subscribe. You can also visit my website where I'll post this video as well, www.seanmancini.com. You can also see my blog post there, where I talk about other pieces of security. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.